Canada. Winters here are tough. A constant battle for food and survival. Only the strong will make it. Four months of struggle and hardship are finally coming to an end. Spring is now upon the forests of Ontario. Wildlife is found in great abundance here. From the fish that swim along the bottom, to the bugs that crawl across the ground, to the birds that soar above. A variety of animals, all affected by man in different ways. We will take a peek into the lives of these animals and explore how they are progressing in our modern day environment. Central and Southern Ontario, a region of deciduous forest. What once used to be an untouched paradise has now become largely populated by man. However, vast regions of forest still exist, but many of the creatures living here have been greatly affected by man. Some have adapted better than others, and some can be found in heavily populated regions. The barred owl, a fair-sized bird, call the forests and cities of central and southern Ontario home. They are about 43 to 53 centimeters tall, have a wingspan of 39 to 43 inches, and weigh about 16 to 37 ounces, smaller than a great horned owl, larger than a barn owl. Barred owls have a lifespan of over 20 years and will start nesting at around the age of 2. The forests of Ontario are home to a wide variety of plants and animals. The moose, the largest species of deer on the planet, call the forests of Ontario home. The moose is mainly a solitary animal, grouping only during mating season or harsh winters. During summer months, moose are found in low-lying areas, usually around lakes or swamps. They feed on the marshy vegetation found in or around the swamp. A moose must eat 45 pounds of food a day to stay healthy. In the winter months, the moose will move to higher ground, taking shelter among the birch and pine trees. The moose will kick at the snow to expose the edible grass and twigs below. In areas of the forest where food is plentiful, moose may form small groups, usually consisting of one bull, several cows, and their calves. In the fall, the moose will mate. Bulls will get aggressive at this time of year and will fight with each other, competing over females. The cow gives birth to 1 or 2 calves in the spring. The calves cannot walk for the first few days. By 2 weeks, they can walk and forage. Many calves may fall victim to wolves or other predators. They rely on the safety of their mother. The calves are weaned at 5 months, but stay with their mother until she gives birth again. The cow will sometimes drive the older calves away, but will usually reunite with them after her new calves have been born. Moose population is under threat with rapid declines over the past decade. Loss of roadless areas, too much fire suppression, disease, parasites, and overhunting all play a big role in this rapid decline. Around 92,000 moose are estimated to still remain in the wild. That's about a 20% loss over the last decade. Overhunting. There are about 98,000 licensed hunters in Ontario. That is more than 3 times as many hunters as there are calves born each year. Moose used to be widely populated throughout southern and central Ontario, but an increase in population and industry has caused them to be driven away. Moose are currently not on the species at risk list, but if humans keep adapting the way we are, the moose could very well end up on the species at risk list and may not be around for future generations. Central and southern Ontario are surrounded by the Great Lakes. Lake Ontario, Lake Erie, and Lake Huron are the 3 main lakes that make up southern Ontario. The Massasauga rattlesnake, Ontario's only venomous snake, calls the shores of these great bodies of water home. The Massasauga rattlesnake is greatly affected by man and are currently a threatened species. They used to be abundant in Ontario, but as the human population grew, the rattlesnake's population declined. They moved to secluded areas of the forest where man did not frequent. Now they are only found in central and southern Ontario around the Great Lakes, mainly along the shores of Georgian Bay and the Bruce Peninsula. The Massasauga rattlesnake is a non-aggressive species and will avoid humans. It has small fangs and venom glands that it uses to find food and protect itself. These fangs are not likely to penetrate hiking boots or thick clothes, and its striking distance is half the length of its body. If you happen to be bit by a Massasauga rattlesnake, seek medical attention. There is a 25% chance no venom is being injected, but still seek medical help. The white-tailed deer, known distinctively by the white underside of its tail. The white-tailed deer's population is steady and is where it should be at. When the deer is startled or alarmed, the tail becomes clearly visible. During severe winters, groups of up to 50 deer may gather for protection from the cold. While feeding, the white-tailed deer will occasionally pause and lift its head to look for predators. The Canada goose is a species that is overpopulated and progressing well. With geese populations increasing, the number of problems between geese and humans has increased. Along with geese population growth, they have expanded their geographical regions. They can be found all around the world, from frigid freezing temperatures to tropical regions. There are so many geese that large flocks have damaged reservoirs by compacting soil on the banks and depositing large quantities of droppings. The Migratory Birds Convention understands that geese may cause damage and danger. The Migratory Birds Convention will provide management tools to reduce conflicts. No geese, their eggs, or nest may be harmed without a permit. Canada geese mate for life. Young adults will start searching for a mate at about a year old, but will usually not form a solid pair until about 2 years of age. A male will display to a female by moving his neck in a number of interesting ways and chasing other geese. If the female is unpaired and interested, they will form a solid pair and mate. The nesting usually takes place in an open, quiet area close to the water. Each pair of geese will establish a territory around their nest and will defend it from other pairs. The nest is a pile of grass, leaves, and twigs. Year after year, the same pair will use the same nest, rebuilding it every year. The female mostly constructs the nest. She will line the nest with her own loose down feathers, making it soft. The female will incubate the 5 or 6 eggs for about 4 weeks. Both the parents will care for the young after they hatch. Central and southern Ontario used to be abundant with wildlife. Over the last decade, humans have greatly impacted our environment. Central and southern Ontario are impacted greatly by cities, roadways, agriculture, forestry, and mining. These all play a huge part in our environmental changes. Cities, like Toronto, usually don't have a very bad winter because of the pollution that surrounds the city. Climate change is affecting central and southern Ontario in a wide variety of ways. Climate change can affect the time of years that lakes freeze and thaw. Less ice cover on the frozen lakes and the times the lakes break could affect the species of underwater life and their breeding times. It can affect how early the trees will bud in the spring. In the spring, large areas of central and southern Ontario may flood. Climate change can also cause animals to change their natural ways. They may migrate to regions where they aren't originally from. Animals could also be seeking out new food sources and changing their breeding seasons. Species that are less adaptable may even completely disappear from current habitats. Species that interact with each other may change the ways they interact. The way humans are using our environment is unacceptable. Central and southern Ontario are being taken over by humans. 13.6 million people call Ontario home, and 9.2 million call Toronto and the surrounding area home. It is no wonder why these cities are so polluted and have almost no natural life living there. Lake Ontario, one of 5 major bodies of water, known as the Great Lakes, is the most polluted. Perhaps this is because of the pollution from the city of Toronto. Sewage used to be dumped into the lake. Lake Ontario also has high levels of mercury and PCB pollution. It might be too late for Lake Ontario, but it is not too late for humans to make a change. Over the last couple decades, many have pitched in to help clean up Lake Ontario, and it is now much cleaner than it was. There are now parks along the Lake Ontario shoreline and a wide variety of animals call the shoreline home. Many organizations, like the Canadian Wildlife Federation, help collect money and raise awareness about Canadian wildlife. You can help by cleaning up garbage around your home or neighborhood. Throw away your trash and recycle. If you spot an animal, watch it, enjoy it, but let it be. We need to protect our natural environment and the species within it. We need to make sure these animals are around for future generations to enjoy. We need to make a change.
Sky when the clouds hang low and the moon is high, with the wind through the trees, with the call of the loon. You cannot hide love under a Muskoka moon.